Hello viewing public, it's Gab and Dad here with yet another movie review. Last night Gab and I went to see The Wolfman.
Oh!
Oh!
It wasn't a full moon.
It wasn't a full moon, no, I wouldn't. Tell the folks about Wolfman.
Well, I think...
This is The Wolfman, by the way. It's not my first wife, it's The Wolfman.
Oh. His first wife's my mother, by the way. Anyway, well, when you said, what movie should we see? I said, The Wolfman. You said, what's that about? I said, it's called The Wolfman. What do you think it's about? But if I need to explain, it's the age-old, mythical, scary guy. You've got Frankenstein, you've got Dracula, you've got Wolfman.
It's a remake of it.
Well, yeah, it's been done before.
It's a famous story.
In the old days of movie making, so it was going for that sort of old-fashioned remake feel. And it's the story of the Wolfman. I mean, specifically in this one, it begins with turn of the century England, and small villages being terrorized by this beast, and a particular person is killed, which prompts this person's brother to return to his homestead from which he's been estranged. He's been off in the States, and he comes back to his home where his crazy father is...
Well, wait a moment. I don't like the use of the phrase crazy father.
I'm not talking about you.
Oh, I see.
I'm talking about Anthony Hopkins' character.
Oh,
and it's the fiance. It's this person's brother who's been killed, and the fiance had asked for the brother to come and help.
Too many facts.
And so he gets all involved in finding out what's going on. There is some sort of beast. He gets attacked by the beast. I don't think this is a spoiler, that this character, Benicio del Toro's character, also then becomes a wolfman and has to deal with that issue. That little small issue.
Nothing that a good psychiatrist could help. And there is no cure, as one of the characters says in the movie, there is no cure for this condition called lycanthropy. I'm not sure if that's a made-up word or not. Perhaps.
No, that's a real word. Of a supposedly, I think, fictitious condition.
I see. And of course, the character only becomes the wolf. The man only becomes the wolf when there's a full moon. And this movie is replete with shots of... The full moon seems to come about every 10 minutes in this movie.
What is it like normally in the real world? It's like monthly, isn't it?
What?
A full moon.
Not every 28 days, I think.
Okay,
not exactly monthly.
Yeah, so there was way too many full moons in this movie. But anyway.
Well, yeah, it was very...
It's not a fact-based movie.
I went to this movie with very low expectations because I had made the mistake...
You didn't know what it was about.
Well, no, but I'd made the mistake that morning, yesterday morning, of reading a couple of reviews that came up. One in the New York Times, one in the Globe. And the reviews really panned it. They said, this is really a bad movie. And in fact, I think...
I'll bark no bite.
Oh, yeah. Deja voodoo.
Good for cliches, this movie.
I found it surprisingly good. I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. Why?
That's what's good about low expectations.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a guiding principle in my life, actually. Why did I like it? Well, first of all, the two main characters are played by excellent actors. Benicio del Toro, who plays the Wolfman, who's a very good actor, and I think actually handled this role very well in a kind of a low-key, soft-spoken, but needless to say, tortured way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's interesting, that actor, no matter what he does. And he didn't it sounds kind of funny for this kind of movie and role, but he didn't overplay it, so to speak.
So I thought he actually did a very good job. And then Anthony Hopkins plays his father.
And he just chewed it.
And Anthony Hopkins he's so good. I mean, he's just such an old pro. I mean, he just knew exactly how to do this, and he did it, and he gave the impression that he was having a lot of fun with the role. So,
and it was fun.
Yeah, so it was good watching the two of them.
And the guy playing the inspector.
He was good
Hugo
too.
Weaving, which you'll know from Matrix and Lord of the Rings. I mean, he's always
He plays a Scotland Yard, but he was good too.
He's fun to watch. Yeah.
So the level of acting was high, I would say. And
the script was low.
The script was poor. It has really clunky lines in it. But it was very atmospheric, the film. It got that down very well. I mean,
it definitely had a gothic,
kind of the art direction, the cinematography was very good.
Reminded me a bit of the Sherlock Holmes art direction.
A little bit.
It was very...
Too much full moon. Oh! Well, but...
It really evoked, it had a realism to it, but it also had an artsiness and a bit of a camp as well to it that, again, like I said, reminded me of the Sherlock Holmes approach, in that it wasn't overly camp, but it had that tone to it as well, so you could go either way with it. And some reviews have said it didn't know what it wanted to be. I didn't have a problem with that. It was sort of a bit of a blend of tone, and that worked for me.
This movie is a lot better than your local movie critics are telling you that it is, I suspect. So,
well, you shouldn't even be listening or reading any other critics.
No, of course. So I would say not bad. Surprising,
I had fun with
surprising,
it. And
not
there's
bad.
some gore that's pretty satisfying if you like that sort of thing, and the effects. I mean, it's hard to be impressed by effects these days, but I thought that the wolf scenes were
worked
really
for me.
good. Yeah.
And just one last comment. The story, although it's a famous story and it's no surprises in it really, I mean, you know what's going to happen for the first 5 minutes. Nonetheless, it had a certain integrity to it. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know,
good.
It had a little bit of a teaser right at the end. I won't say what it was because that would be a bit of a spoiler.
Yeah.
For me, it worked. It was an enjoyable night out of the movies.
Yeah, I think it was just fine. It wasn't terrible. It was quite entertaining. And if there's lots of more big bang movies coming up, if you want to save your big dollars, then I would definitely say rent it. I think it would be a fun night in to rent as well.
Gab,
Yeah.
when's the next full moon?